I want winners. I want people that want to win.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
You got to put your money where your mouth is, Pete.
It's not gambling advice. Let's talk MLB draft. So I have to be honest here, folks. I rely on my sources here at Just Baseball. We have 3 guys who I got on the phone. We had a collaborative effort, and there was 4 picks. There was 4 picks that every single one of them was aligned, and they are trying to now send me money to put it all on these 4 picks. Before we get into those 4 picks, I want to talk to you guys about some leans that they had, because right now for the first overall pick, more of the public is on Tamar Johnson, high school second baseman. Colby's giving that face for a reason. He will not be going number 1. I don't know what to tell you. If he does, egg on my face. They all said there's almost no way. Not that he's not a great player, not that he's not going to get picked in the first 10 picks. He definitely will. I don't even know if he goes in the top 5, if I can be honest. Plus 350 right now for Tamar Johnson. Don't do it. Now we look around. Brooks Lee from Cal Poly Slow. Excuse me. I saw him a bunch at Cal Poly. Unbelievable talent and probably the safest pick in this entire draft. If the Orioles want to go under slot and take Brooks Lee, would make a ton of sense in the world because I love Brooks Lee and I would call him the best player in this draft.
It's a Hall of Fame name. Brooks Lee just sounds like a Hall of Famer.
Reminds me of Alex Bregman as a switch hitter. Alex Bregman pre-trash cans, as in when he had trash cans.
Post-trash cans. He's actually having a good year this year.
Exactly. I'm making fun of him, but at the end of the day, that's the kind of person that you should put in your mind, a switch hitting Alex Bregman who can play some shortstop. Drew Jones is a very popular name right now for good reason because he's a freakazoid. Go check out his high school stats. They'll blow your mind. He's a center fielder. He's Andrew Jones's son, and he's at plus 275. Brooks Lee is getting a lot of steam right now at minus 350. But really, what I think it comes down to is I will be putting 1 unit on Jackson Holiday at plus 1,100. You should go check out our mock draft on justbaseball.com to see our full litany of picks. That was mock draft 3.0 released a couple of days ago. We released it 2 days ago. Baseball America released it yesterday. We had Jackson Holiday going number 1. Now Baseball America a day later has Jackson Holiday going number 1. I think it will be between Brooks Lee, who's now currently minus 350, and Jackson Holiday at plus 1,100. That's Matt Holiday's son, shortstop prospect, shooting up draft boards. They love him to death. Plus 1,100 is definitely worth it. You got something, Colby?
Yeah, I just got something because it makes me feel old already. Andrew Jones' son is in this draft. Matt Holiday's son is in this draft. You know who else's son is in this draft? Carl Crawford. How is Carl Crawford's son already in this draft? That's crazy.
Crazy. Let's get into some draft positions. So our first play is Jackson Holiday to go number 1 overall plus 1,100. In our mind, that value is plenty worth it for us because we believe here at Just Baseball, it is between Brooks Lee and Jackson Holiday. Again, these are not locks, ladies and gentlemen. These are not locks. The MLB draft is tough to bet on because at the end of the day, the best player in the draft doesn't always go first. This isn't the same thing as the NFL, as the NBA, as even the NHL. The best pick doesn't often go first. There's different strategy. There's bonus pool money. They get a certain allotment of money. So don't expect just because you think Drew Jones is the best player in this draft, and he might very well be, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to go number 1 and he's plus 275. That's not somebody I would touch right now.
And maybe he doesn't even show up.
Maybe he goes back to college.
Maybe he goes to college.
We don't know yet. He has a very strong commitment to Vanderbilt. He doesn't need the money as well because he's Andrew Jones' son, and Andrew Jones is very well in baseball. We will certainly see. There's that, again, no lock there. What I'm going to look at is a couple draft positions because they had a couple of leans. And right now, I see these lines available on DraftKings. They might be available on other books, but that's where I'm at right now. So good job, DraftKings. You got the lines. These are a couple of ones that they liked, but the value of them isn't great. Justin Crawford over 13.5. They really like that. It's minus 250 currently. If you want to lay 2.5 units, they really like it. They want to put a bunch on it, but at the end of the day, minus 250 is minus 250. They do like it though. I will tell you that. Chase Young, under 14.5 draft position. They love it. They think he could go 6 to the Miami Marlins, and that's minus 235. Again, I'm not trying to give you guys a bunch of lines that are minus 200 or above. I'm trying to get the best value possible for you all. But again, they love under 14.5. If we're looking at Kevin Parada seems to be going number 5 to the Nationals in almost every single mock draft. The top 4 seem to be kind of already written in stone. I'm on our mock draft right now, and mock draft 3.0 written by Arm Layton and Ryan Miller have Jackson Holiday going number 1, Drew Jones 2, Brooks Lee 3, and the Pirates are in love with a kid named Cam Collier, who's a 17-year-old who played JUCO baseball and is rising up these ranks. It seems that Kevin Parada is kind of already locked into the Nats. So at minus 235 for over 4.5, they said is a very solid bet. Again, minus 235. Colby, you got something?
Yeah, I think that one's pretty much locked in. I haven't seen it. Would make no sense for the Pirates, who have 2 really good catching prospects in the minor leagues, to take him. It really just makes no sense.
And this is one that I really do like. And I asked them, and they said there's a possibility that this guy could go under 12, but they think they would lean over 12. But this guy is so polarizing. His name is Zach Neto, shortstop / pitcher at Campbell. He's a very, very talented baseball player. And he's just a guy who it's tough to pin which team is going to fall in love with him, because one team certainly will. I lean towards over 12.5. That is currently minus 105. I don't think he's going to go in the top 12 picks, but there is, again, that possibility that he ends up going there. But I think I'm going to be sprinkling on over 12.5, because minus 105 is great value too.
He has been, this is a guy that's been shooting up draft boards like the last week. He's been, I've seen him in the top 10 even. So
I agree.
I even saw him mocked to the Marlins in a draft.
It's a tough one. That's a tough one. Maybe a sprinkle. If you know more about Zach Neto, but at least on our mock draft, he's not going within the top 12 right now. All right, let's get into something I'm stamping on. And my 3 sources, I'm not going to name them. I'm sure you can guess who they are. 2 of them are Arm Layton and Ryan Miller. The other one I'm going to keep private for a minute. Daniel Susac is a catcher at Arizona. It's minus 175, people. I told you I'm not going to give you anything over 200. I'm putting 1.75 units to win a unit on Daniel Susac under 17.5. There are too many teams in this draft that need a catcher, and Daniel Susac, behind Kevin Parada, is a phenomenal catcher for the University of Arizona. He will get drafted under 17.5. On our mock, I just want to find it real quick.
I think we have him at like 12 or 13. While you pull that up, I'm going to list his college numbers this year, because they're just flat out insane.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actually, both of his years were insane, but this year he hit 366 with a 430 on base percentage and a 1,012 OPS in 312 plate appearances in the deadly Pac-12.
So our sources say they would be shocked if he makes it past 13 to the Angels. That's where he's currently mocked in this draft. And they think that it's possible even the Guardians could go after him at 16 if he happens to fall, and the Phillies could even possibly go get him at 17. I do not think he goes past 17.5, and all the sources would agree as well. The next one, which I love even more. If you don't want to lay 1.75 units, I understand that minus 175, you don't want to do it. How about minus 110? Dylan Lesko is the best pitcher in this draft. By all accounts, you go look at any mock, in our mock, and his line is posted at 16.5. He ain't dropping past 16. I don't think he drops past 12. In this mock right now, he's the first pitcher taken off the board to the Rockies, who are targeting pitching, as are the Mets at number 11. I would be more than shocked if he drops past 10 or 11. And right now you're giving me a 16.5. 2 units on that. Dylan Lesko is not dropping. The only possible reason, because at the end of the day, these are not locks, ladies and gentlemen. It's not even the not gambling advice bit. These are not locks. I know I might be a little bit persuasive right now. You're probably hearing across the airwaves. This guy's kind of being a little bit persuasive. I understand. There is no such thing as locks in this, because Dylan Lesko does have the arm injury. That's what could somehow make teams afraid. But at the end of the day, The medical stats for these teams are so good. And Dylan Lesko, by all accounts, is the best pitcher in this class. He is not dropping past 16.5.
He would have been a lock top 10 pick if he were not to have been gotten hurt.
Yeah, I think he would be closer to the top 5 if he was not hurt. But at the end of the day, he is hurt, which may drop him to 11, not 16.5. There are too many teams that would jump up and go grab him if possible. Okay. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm coughing so much. I apologize to everybody listening. There is a couple of matchups. So you go to draft matchups on DraftKings. A lot of them are super juiced. You got a lot of minus 250s. You got a lot of minus 265s. I can run through a couple of ones that they really like. Kumar Rocker versus Carson Whisenhunt. Every single one of the people I've talked to said Kumar Rocker, no doubt, at minus 250 though. Again, minus 250 versus Carson Whisenhunt. If that's more of your MO, we are all over that. We like that one. But again, I'm not going to give that out at minus 250. They love Jacob Berry to get drafted before Gavin Cross. Again, minus 215.
I love that one.
Jackson Holiday, they said, I might take out a mortgage to put it on minus 550 over Elijah Green. Again, it's minus 550. Just kind of, I want to tell you guys where they're leaning. But, and then also they think that Brock Jones is worth a sprinkle to get drafted above Drew Gilbert, and that is at plus 350. But the one they are targeting and the one I love the most is because I already love this lefty, and that's Cooper Jerpy getting drafted above Gabriel Hughes from UConn. Both very talented players. One, I believe, is more talented. I believe that this guy...
Hughes is Gonzaga.
What did I say?
UConn. But shout out to UConn.
Shout out to UConn. So many colleges, so many players just running through my head. He's a Gonzaga pitcher. Cooper Jerpy, I believe, as well as my sources, believe that he will be drafted above Gabriel Hughes at plus 100. So,
do you want the Jerpy numbers?
Of course I want the Jerpy numbers. Give me,
because they're very impressive. This year, he went 103 innings, 161 strikeouts, a 2.53 ERA, and an 0.87 whip. I mean, this guy was unhittable.
He was unhittable, and pitchability is off the charts with Cooper Jerpy. To recap, 1 unit on Jackson Holiday plus 1,100. Remember, these odds are going to fluctuate. Odds are going to fluctuate. Just yesterday, plus 425 for Jackson Holiday. Shot all the way up to plus 1,100. If that scares you off, fine. Just makes me lick my chops even harder. If we're talking about draft position, my two favorites, two favorites, Daniel Susac under 17.5 at minus 175, 1.75 units to win a unit, as well as Dylan Lesko under 16.5 in his draft position, 2.2 units to win 2 units at minus 110. If we're talking about draft matchups, I will be putting 1 unit to win 1 unit on Cooper Jerpy plus 100 to get drafted before Gabriel Hughes. Colby, after hearing all that, how do you feel?
I feel good. I want to give a quick shout out to DraftKings for these lines. If anybody at DraftKings is listening to this episode, reach out to us.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, that'll do it for this episode of Not Gambling Advice. Again, if you guys want to play along with us, I'm also very interested because there's a chance that Prize Picks puts up MLB draft props. We will be all over as well. With the home run derby, it's always tough. We can go through the data, but at the end of the day, it's a home run derby. This feels a little bit more surgical, but at the end of the day, there's no such thing as lock in baseball, but the draft feels a little bit more surgical. I feel like we have at least a read. A lot of our guys are in the Cape Cod League right now, hearing rumors. We have Arm, of course, talking to a bunch of different scouts. So we have a good read on this. Again, anything could happen. Do not go crazy, but you know where I'm putting my money. You know where Colby's putting his money. And at the end of the day, it's not gambling advice. Use code JustBaseball and Prize Picks. And with that, thank you, everybody.